Since the women's evolution in WWE, fans have hotly debated whether the women's division or the men's division has produced the best matches in the company. But rarely do we get to see these two divisions competing against each other. I'm SoCal Val, and today we look at 5 shocking intergender matches that took place in WWE. Number 5. Chyna vs. Chris Jericho, Survivor Series 1999. During the Attitude Era, WWE superstars Chyna and Chris Jericho had a memorable rivalry. Among their 3 consecutive pay-per-view matches for the WWE Intercontinental Championship, this contest was the best one. It was also one of the longest matches Chyna had in her WWE career, as it lasted nearly 14 minutes. These two superstars shared genuinely good in-ring chemistry, and their matches felt perfectly natural. There were a few instances where Jericho behaved in a bit of a sexist manner during the match, avoiding a major hit on Chyna. But for the most part, they simply put on a great show for the WWE Universe. Though she was a face, the fans favored Jericho, a popular heel, and Chyna was booed by the crowd after she retained her title. This reaction, however, doesn't take anything away from the quality of in-ring action demonstrated by the two superstars. Number 4. Stephanie McMahon vs. Brock Lesnar, SmackDown 2003. In September 2003, Stephanie McMahon had to go one-on-one with the Beast incarnate, Brock Lesnar. Stephanie was then SmackDown's general manager and in a feud with her father, Vince McMahon. Yes, we are not at all making these things up. On the September 9th episode of The Blue Brand, Lesnar challenged her to a match, and Vince saw it as an opportunity to punish his daughter. He gave her a choice between accepting Lesnar's challenge or stepping down from her SmackDown general manager position. Stephanie didn't hesitate and accepted Lesnar and Mr. McMahon's challenge. However, she had plans of her own to win the battle and tried to escape the ring as soon as the bell rang. The Beast incarnate had to chase her backstage and bring her back on his shoulders to ringside. Luckily for Stephanie, Kurt Angle interfered and rescued her from Lesnar. The match ended in a no contest, and the billion-dollar princess kept her job. Number 3. Lita and Trish Stratus vs. Christian and Chris Jericho, WWE Armageddon 2003. This bout featured 4 stars who were really at the peak of their popularity at the time. Lita and Trish Stratus took on Chris Jericho and Christian in a tag team match at Armageddon 2003. But the story leading up to that was a bit peculiar. The match was based around another story of sexist men looking down on women, and the fans really didn't approve of this disrespectful behavior. While the female stars got along well, Jericho and Christian couldn't stay on the same page. The match had some problematic moments, like Christian taking off Lita's top and Jericho spanking Trish in the ring, but it was elevated by an electric crowd. Although Lita and Trish had better in-ring chemistry, the ending of the contest did not favor the female duo. Jericho was looking to take Stratus down, but Christian rolled her up for a sneaky win, which didn't please Y2J one bit. Number 2. Alexa Bliss vs. Randy Orton, Fastlane 2021. The most recent addition to this list came last year when Randy Orton was involved in a heated feud with the Fiend Bray Wyatt. Quite literally. I mean, at one point, Orton burned the Fiend alive inside a WWE ring. This is when Wyatt's at the time ally, Alexa Bliss, stepped in against the Viper. Bliss took on the torch against Orton all by herself with a gruesome one-woman vendetta filled with mind games and voodoo-like mysticism in the midst of a chaotic back and forth between the two. Alexa Bliss proposed Randy finally end his nightmare and kick her out of his life at WWE Fastlane, a challenge that the Legend Killer gleefully accepted. The match was very short, and the burnt Fiend reappeared to help Bliss. The most memorable aspect of the bout was how Bliss won as she sat on Orton to score the pinfall over the 14-time WWE World Champion. Number 1. Stephanie McMahon vs. Vince McMahon, No Mercy 2003. In October 2003, WWE presented a rivalry between father and daughter that played out on its SmackDown brand. It featured Vince McMahon at his most villainous and Stephanie McMahon at her most sympathetic personality. The issues between Vince and Stephanie began in summer 2003, when she began questioning some of the decisions her father was making in regards to her on SmackDown. After a lengthy feud, Vince booked an I Quit match, and if Stephanie lost, she would be forced to resign as general manager of SmackDown. Mr. McMahon, in particular, was shockingly brutal in the match as he mercilessly assaulted his daughter. He was unforgiving in every move he laid on Stephanie as he pummeled her. Stephanie put forth a valiant effort and did a brilliant job of garnering sympathy from the fans. Linda McMahon, Stephanie's mother, threw the towel in eventually to end her daughter's suffering inside of the squared circle. While this was all scripted, Stephanie has taken over as WWE's new interim chairwoman very recently after Vince McMahon stepped down from his role. So, who would you say won in the long run? And that's our list. For Sportskeeda Wrestling, I'm SoCal Val. We'll see you next time.